Hey everyone, Kevin here, and welcome back to my channel. So, I wanted to share a really important tip for a lot of new instructional designers, or anyone involved in course creation, really. Please make your learning more conversational. People want to be talked to, not at. And I bring this up because I've been helping interview for a new role in our team recently, and I've seen a lot of stiff, jargon heavy, and kind of academic looking portfolio work samples, and often your learners are not going to respond to that. This often isn't your fault either. We've been raised through our secondary and higher education experiences that we need to sound smart, verbose, trained, and educated instead of just being clear and concise. Even more so for former teachers and those who came from academia in general, who are used to writing lessons or papers for other academics, professors, or graduate students. They come from a place of being subject matter experts and end up talking like that in the trainings they create. Looking back at papers in college that I got published and the historical journal I was chief editor on, I'm proud of what I accomplished, but I know that I would never put the language I used in those papers in front of a learner in my job. The wording was dense, pedantic, and well, kind of long winded. Similarly, we all know that SMEs are great at getting us the information we need to create courses, along with any screenshots and extra stuff we need to develop an e-learning with. They aren't really able to create their own trainings because we've all been there where a stakeholder comes in, asks for something, and we have to tell them that it isn't really going to solve anything or that their request wouldn't benefit the course or the training problem. As time goes on and you become a more proficient ID, you start to realize not only practical things like that, but how all of that academic language or dense information SMEs provide you and stakeholders you use to describe things doesn't work for most adult learners. Sure, many of them will understand the acronyms, flowcharts, and jargon that you use in the course to solve whatever training problem the company is having, but when it comes down to it, they still want relevancy in their learning. And you need to ask yourself, is the way I'm phrasing this information going to accomplish that? Same goes for narration and video strips, where I see this dense language even more often. We tend to write much more professionally than we talk. When I first got hired at Hanger, they needed me to create like 5 videos as soon as possible about major clinic changes at the company, and the provided script for the first video they made was exactly like that. I had to have a meeting a few days into the job and tell them the way they'd been doing it wasn't the best way to go about it. I sat there with them on a Teams call for like an hour, rewriting the script to show the group how to focus on clarity and brevity when writing these kinds of scripts, because learners don't have time for information that they aren't going to use. I've been a firm advocate for doing this, and I feel that it's dramatically improved learner engagement and buy in because they can actually understand the whole darn thing. My course narration and videos always feel like I'm talking to them and their experiences rather than just rambling on about things which aren't important or are just hard to understand and decipher from the language. I often tell SMEs that I'll do an editing and flow pass on scripts they want me to record so it sounds more like natural speech. And I'm now trusted to do so because I've proven how it works. However, it's important to note that you shouldn't go too far to the other direction either and make your learning overly conversational. I've seen a handful of courses like this too during my resume and portfolio reviews, where some IDs start talking more like social media influencers or marketers that you'd see in commercials rather than real people with real problems. They start courses like, hey there, welcome to this module, take your shoes off, put your feet up, and let's go for a learning adventure. Yeah, please don't do that. I mean, at that point, you're more infantilizing and talking down to your learners. Just speak to them like you're having a normal conversation with someone. Learning shouldn't feel like work on either side of the equation. It shouldn't feel like you're reading an academic journal, and it shouldn't feel like you're watching a hyped up children's program. Same goes for adding in interactives, but not gamifying your training beyond all recognition and detracting from what you're trying to accomplish. People are looking for learning that tells them what they need to learn by the end of the course, goes over things with some interactivity, shows them screenshots or videos of, say, a changing process, and then just concludes. As with anything, if it doesn't directly help solve the training problem or address the learning objectives, then it shouldn't be there at all. Plus, let's just be honest with ourselves. We get less patient as we get older, and our time gets more precious. And you don't want to waste anyone's time or have reviewers come back and say that they're not understanding what you've been saying because it's written at a level that they have a hard time following. At least use some contractions to smooth out the sentences. But overall, learning should never be boring or annoying. It should be informative, give learners chances to apply the information, where applicable, of course, and lead to effective training solutions. People have limited time to do trainings, and the denser your language, the longer it takes for them to do it. I think we'd all like to be taught to rather than at, and our trainings need to reflect that. Just check yourself every so often and work with another teammate to make sure your language is comprehensible to everyone taking it, just in case you miss something. Your trainings will be more successful, you'll stand out to hiring managers more when they're reviewing your portfolio, and it is more likely to engage learners in the long run. Well, everyone, thanks for watching today's episode, and I hope it'll help your trainings and maybe even get you a job down the line. But it does require a mindset shift if you're still in the older academic language way of thinking. But please don't forget to click like and subscribe to stay up to date with all of my videos moving forward. Plus, it helps the algorithm a little bit. But as always, I've been Kevin, and I will see you in the next video.